Hello, Honey Roses. Welcome to Milk Honey Rose. Thank you for being here. Okay, so I got a download this morning, and before I opened my eyes, I heard Emperor, Empress, and I don't know. I didn't know why Spirit said that to me, but I just heard Emperor, Empress, and then it's like on a telepathic level, I just felt the communication of like decode that, because that's what it's meant to be. Decode that, because that's what it's meant to be. And I just let it marinate for a minute. I didn't really think too much about it. And then once I did start to think about it, I recognized that both the words emperor, and empress, they begin with em. Okay, emp, imp. That made me think about empty. Okay, so it's like Spirit is saying one of the major goals in our lives as individuals who are in this realm, a part of the purpose is to be able to empty yourself. It's almost like I want to call it a gift. But however, it's a gift that you learn over time, not unless you're graced with the ability to learn from someone else who has gone through it already and be willing to listen to what it is that they're saying, regardless of if you're going to take action and make or take those steps in your life in order to reach this moment in time within this lifetime. So empty came to mind because both Emperor and Empress begin with EMP. We must empty ourselves of our surroundings and our environment. This is a part of the lesson that we all have to learn as one, to empty ourselves of what we've been given or what has been given to us. And when you empty yourself, you're able to start at a clean slate, and you begin to retrieve all that feels connected to you. You find your own connections, because I've talked about this before. When there's certain music that you like, when there's certain ideas that you have, when there are certain foods and flavors and tastes that you like, it's a part of you. It's a representation of where you come from. Like a big representation, as well as your gifts, what you could do. It reminds me of certain parts of the world where they're very, they use their hands a lot. They are crafty. They make things. I know in Cairo, they make things a lot with their hands. The Mayan culture are very artistic as well. So it's like, I don't want to get too deep into that aspect of it, because it's just to graze over it so you understand what I'm saying. The talents and gifts you have connect you to your lineage. They connect you to who you truly are. Okay, so this is why we must empty ourselves of everything that you know. And you have to start out from the beginning. It's like a rebirth as an adult. Even a rebirth, it can even happen when you're younger, in your younger years. We go through rebirths every time we shed a certain aspect of ourselves that is old, because we've grown. Okay? Now, impress, right? Press. That's like smooth out. Get all the wrinkles out. That's what women do. That's what the feminine energy does. We like to keep things in order when your mind is right, because there's many feminines out here that don't act feminine, and they are confused about who they are and what they're meant to do in this world, so they become obsolete, basically, because they're just there. Then there's a lack of respect. There's a lot with that. However, let me focus on the key points here. Empress. We press things out. We smooth things out. A house is not a home without a woman's touch. Because there's men that know how to, keep a clean house and take care of home as well. However, the woman has a special touch because she's a nurturer. And she brings life into the home in a different way because it's loving. There's a lot of love that comes from a feminine woman, a feminine energy. Okay. So I also got impress, like like impression. So a feminine energy usually impresses a man by not just a man, but individually. How can I say? I'm saying it wrong. She impresses those who coming into contact with her because of her nurturing, loving energy, and because of her ability to listen, and just because of her essence. Feminine energy is very impressive, right? Could be very impressive. Now, when I think about an emperor, that I hear poor, the poorer, the man, like a real man, from what Spirit is saying, pours himself into his family. Family is top tier. Family is what is most important to him. And he pours into himself to then pour into his family, because we have to be okay as individuals to be able to give anything, okay? So the first thing is to pour into self, and then reciprocate that, multiply it, and pour into the family. And then the Empress impresses the Emperor with her ability to nurture him while he's pouring. So as the Empress gives, the Emperor pours, and it becomes cyclical. It's like it reminds me of how the trees, I heard it, the trees receive sunlight and hydration from, I want to say, the universe, right? And then as the hydration and the sun penetrate the tree, all of that nutrients goes into the ground and into the roots. Okay, and then there's growth. And that's a cycle. And it's like, have you ever heard that the sun is the father? In the Native American culture, the sun is the father. In Native American culture, the sun is considered the father, and the mother is considered the moon. The intuitive aspect, the creative aspect, the aspect that actually lightens the load. Feminines are actually supposed to, or meant to, liven up the environment for their family and bring smiles, bring joy. And when it comes to the masculine energy, the masculine energy is like the security, the one that is has that tough love, but it creates a balance. Very has the ability to discipline in such a way and teach. And the mother is the teacher as well. It's just that, like, the roles are a bit similar. They're just opposite. Okay. They're similar yet opposite, because the masculine energy is the logical side, the side that doesn't see. Both individuals harmonize with each other in the relationship in a beautiful way, because it brings, I heard, an equilibrium into the home. Because it's just the energy. The energy of a masculine is more tough, more hard, more aggressive than a feminine energy is. Even though both feminine energies and masculine energies, we both have masculine and feminine within us. However, it's not supposed to be so much that the masculine begins to act feminine and the feminine acts masculine. So there is an absolute I heard disengagement of self. Right now in the world, people are disengaged with themselves. So to engage with yourself is to tap more into who you truly are meant to be naturally. Okay? Even though, circumstances do change a person, and a feminine can become more masculine due to what she has gone through in her life, and it, like, her environment or the cards that she was dealt in life kind of like force her into being more masculine. It could be because of a position that she has when it comes to work. It could be because she wasn't raised around people who allowed her to be in her soft girl energy, didn't allow her to be soft. So she had to tap into her masculine energy as a survival tactic. It was like, look, I have to do this or I'm not going to make it out here. And that's just what it is. And it's sad. However, this is the truth of the matter here of what society is going through. Now, when it comes to masculine energies that act more feminine, there's so much here that I could say, but I just want to touch on the fact that it has a lot to do with influence. I mean, it has a lot to do with influence on both sides, but more so with the masculine energy. There's so much temptation that is put in front of the masculines when it comes to things being like over sexualized and things like that. I mean, there's so much to talk about here. However, I will say that, how do I want to say this? The lack of resources and the lack of support for men has caused them to move to the last resort. And the last resort is usually being dependent on, or becoming more dependent instead of independent under certain circumstances. That's not for all men. However, you know what I mean, when I say that, when it comes to certain men in the world. So I just want to highlight those points because that shows that there's a disengagement of self in many people. And that's another reason why the world is so chaotic, because it's I heard a confusion spell. Okay, so Spirit mentioned Emperor and Empress to highlight the fact of how beautiful the cyclical reciprocity is between a divine union when they do come together. And you impress each other, okay? You pour into each other. If you see that if in a divine union, the Empress or the Emperor sees that there's a certain way that they're thinking that could destroy them, the Emperor and the Empress will communicate with each other in such a way where they will help them to be more strong-minded. Because there's times when the feminine gets weak. Possibly it could happen. I mean, like weak at the mind and the way of thinking, and that could happen to the masculine energy as well, because we are human and there are insecurities and there are things that could worry a person. They might not want to voice it, aloud to everyone. However, both masculine and feminine energy do struggle at times when it comes to just dealing with life. So a true divine union, which is an emperor and empress, they pour into each other, and when one falls, the other one can pick up the pieces, kind of like they're just there for each other. They spot each other. You know how like somebody spots you when you're at the gym to make sure the weight don't fall on you and just take you out? It's the same energy. That's what an emperor and empress are meant to do for one another. I heard they bring the equalizer into their environment, and they think together, they become one, and it's like a team. And it's a beautiful dynamic when they understand how to navigate toxicity and things that could go wrong within a relationship, because everything is not always going to be peaches and cream, because it's just two different individuals that may have opposing ideas sometime. It's really about being able to compromise when needed and understand each other and listen and love, and not try to like control or put fear on one another. If you feel like you have to do all that, something's wrong. There's something gravely wrong in that relationship, and someone is going to be suffering in silence if one person feels like they need to like completely control and dominate over somebody and act like a psychopath. Okay, so that's what spirit placed on me this morning, so I just wanted to share that with you. They're basically saying that that's the type of relationship that you want to go for, where you impress each other all the time and you pour into each other all the time with love, joy, abundance, peace, affirmations, removing afflictions. I'm hearing it's just you keep each other pure is what I'm getting. You keep each other pure. That's a big thing. Okay, that's a big thing, because we living in a toxic place, a realm full of toxicity. So to keep your home pure, your children, if you have any, and it brings peace at home. It makes a house a home. Okay, so that's it for this message. If you need anything from me, visit www.milkhoneyrose.org, and you can also join my membership program to support me. I'd greatly appreciate it if you do, and everything you do it with love. Oh, there was another part I wanted to mention: the S's on the Empress. Maybe I should leave that for the next. I'm gonna leave that for the next one. Okay, I'll see you in the next one.